What's up, guys? Good evening, and again, I'm sorry I'm doing this very late, but I had other stuff to do. Again, I was very busy, so sorry for this trouble. But I'll try to wrap it up very quickly. So, one announcement: if you want to look at my screen, please watch the YouTube live, so you can see all the things that are in my screen. So without further ado, I'll quickly start with the market wrap. So today was a decent day for the bulls, and Nifty, Bank Nifty did extremely well, and there were pockets which did outstandingly well. So the stocks for the day today were actually, I think, metals and banks. I think they were the ones which took Nifty and even Bank Nifty at one point, IndusInd Bank, Axis Bank, and both of them, I think we discussed in the last live that both of them have good catalysts with respect to Axis Bank being allowed to, add additional promoter stake. And even IndusInd Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank both had the same catalyst that the ownership rules were changed by RBI. So that was extremely good for the markets. Now, if you look at what Bank Nifty and Nifty did, so Nifty was up 183 points and about 1% up, and Bank Nifty outperforming by 669 points. So they were up 669 points, about 1.9% up. Now, Indian equities were very good because of a slew of reasons. Now, number one was GDP data was extremely good, manufacturing PMI data was extremely good, and sectoral growth was seen today in the as in the last 1 year and 1 quarter. So all the fundamental numbers were extremely good, with GDP numbers actually beating expectations, and no one was actually expecting all these numbers. But with that being said, markets did extremely well, and even the global markets, I think overnight, Nikkei, Hang Seng, and a bunch of Asian markets did extremely well. So now, if you look at Nifty 50, IndusInd Bank was the top gainer, 5.7% up. JSW Steel, outperformer in Nifty, outperformer in the metal space. And I've been talking about metals. I am bullish on metals, and I feel that metals will probably do well for the days to come. And there are a bunch of reasons for that. Number one is iron ore prices in China are extremely strong, and there is a lot of good manufacturing activity data that came in with the GDP numbers, and I'll show all of that to you. So I think from that front, it's good. And even auto production numbers came out. So all major automakers, two-wheelers, four-wheelers, Tata Motors, Ashok Leyland, Eicher Motors, all of them came out with their automobile numbers, and they were also good. So things are looking as if metals could bounce back, but we'll have to see how they fare out. Now, Axis Bank, Tata Motors, Adani Ports, SBI all up 3.5%. And in the IT pack, only Tech Mahindra was up 3%. Rest were kind of very sluggish. And there were a lot of mid cap IT names which got hit. Sonata Software was down about 9%, 8.5%. So that's something to watch out for. Now, if you look at the losing side of Nifty, on which stocks actually lost a lot of money, lost a lot of points and contributed to the downfall of Nifty in some aspects, were Divi's Lab, Dr. Reddy's, Sun Pharma, three pharmaceutical, and I think there was a rotation of money that came out of pharma. Now, when it comes to Omicron variant, I think there is a lot of uncertainty still which persists, but I think the market has overreacted. So if you look at, there are about 50 countries who have put either a ban or some sort of travel restriction, and I think this is going to increase as more and more data comes in. Now, Tata Motors, someone is saying Tata Motors didn't declare. No, Tata Motors auto numbers have been out. They have slightly matched expectations, and I'll be talking about auto numbers. So if you're looking to trade auto stocks, I'll tell you about the auto numbers which matter. And I think Eicher Motors and Maruti are doing extremely well. And I'll also be going through a note by Bank of America Merrill Lynch on what they think auto companies can do. Now, the first update from a news aspect was the GDP growth of 8.5% for July-September quarter. Now, CNBC poll for analysts was about 8.1%, so slightly beating expectations. But frankly, the market was not expecting, our GDP numbers to be that well. So, if you look at quarter one FY22 numbers, we are on the path to actually have a 20% growth, as compared to the quarter two FY21 negative 7.5% growth rate. Again, the base was very small, so these numbers are just headline numbers, but in a sense, there was good industrial growth. Now, if you're looking at the screen, Industry growth for Q2 comes at 6.9%, but service industry actually declined. So if you look at the screen, service industries actually declined 10% at 10.1%, like it was down as compared to 11.5%. But again, manufacturing did extremely well, and trade and hotels also did really well. Now, talking about hotels, I think hotel stocks will still be under pressure, so it's not a good idea to kind of be involved in hotel stocks or the reopening play. Number one, because there are restrictions which are going to get increased. Maharashtra government also announced a new set of guidelines, and I think travel restrictions will start to kick in. Not in that deep sense, but again, travel is going to be somewhat skeptical. And you saw Delta Corp, you saw Lemon Tree, you saw Chalet Hotels, Indian Hotels, all of them kind of coming down. Now, mining sector saw growth of 15.5% and construction at 7.5%. Now, understand real estate stocks, housing finance stocks like Indiabulls, and a slew of cement companies and also steel companies. They are doing well because of this data, because I think this data gives some confidence on how the economy is performing as far as the housing market is concerned. So these were good numbers from that aspect. Now, private final consumption and they saw a decline at 8.6%. But again, I think these numbers are good with respect to the conditions, and the economy has bounced back pretty strongly. So these are the good things. Now, if you look at the manufacturing PMI, this was at 57.6. This is a 10-month high. Now, try to understand manufacturing PMI is production manufacturing index. Now, this index being at 57.6 tells you that the manufacturing activity was pretty active, and that tells you, the growth part of the story. So I think we are doing well from a fundamental aspect. The market has, I think, accounted for all the negatives. So at this point, I don't see a fresh new reason for the market to take a dip or the market to create a new low. I am bullish on Nifty and Bank Nifty. I think ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, bunch of metal names, I think they can outperform. So I think that is something very closely to watch out for. Now, Nomura India Business Resumption Index, and this is, I think, highly important for you to understand the whole state of what's happening in the economy. This is another high of 114.5. Now, this tells that uh, the manufacturing and the business resumption index has been above the pre-pandemic levels, and economy remains. They say that economy remains on a recovery path, and inflationary pressures are building up. Now, yesterday, Jerome Powell, the Fed chairperson, he told in the announcement that they are going to start tapering sooner, and they think inflation is pretty high at this point. Now, this was the reason why Dow Jones, towards the end of the day yesterday, fell quite a lot, and they were down by about 2%. But by the time Indian market opened, I think India had India-specific good data, which actually dictated the market or dictated the show. So that was very good. Now, another thing to add is Dow is up, S&P 500 is up, Nasdaq is up today. They're doing pretty well. I think Dow was up 420 points at one point. I think right now it's up 350 or 340 points. And there is another fundamental reason for that. Non-farm payroll numbers came in outstandingly well. I think beating the market expectation, and hence those stocks are also doing well. In the US, NIO, Tesla, and a lot of electric vehicle stocks are doing well because they're beating expectations in terms of delivery numbers. So I think that's another thing. Another reason why I think the market is going to go up, or we'll see a rebound, is because of the GST collection numbers. So we have second highest GST collection numbers since the implementation of GST. So again, that tells you that the manufacturing retail activity is quite strong. Now, one of the biggest catalysts, I think, for the day came out with fertilizer stocks, and I think we've been discussing about Chambal fertilizers for quite some time. Now, fertilizer subsidy may go beyond 1.5 lakh crores this fiscal. Now, there have been talks about farmers and other people complaining that fertilizer prices are going high because of raw material price increases, and the government has to support these farmers. So, fertilizer subsidy for current fiscal will be on a record level, and Chambal Fertilizers on this note was up 9.17%, trading at around 397 rupees. I think it has a fresh breakout upside tomorrow. So Chambal Fertilizers is something definitely to watch out for. Now, Tata Power investors, Tata Power is up 4% today, and they were 4% up because Tata Power solar system bagged an order of about 950 crores from Solar Energy Corporation of India. Again, a good order, and I think the solar pipeline for Tata Power is now north of 3,000 crores. So I think this is something to definitely watch out for. Mind you, Jefferies has downgraded Tata Power, and the price target is in the range of 160, 170. They did a downgrade 3, 4 days back. I personally don't believe in this downgrade. I think Tata Power has a lot of growth potential going forward, and I think this is a stock which should be bought at dips every single time when you see a dip. Now, coming on to other evidence of how strong manufacturing actually is in the economy, is the railway minister today said that Concor, Container Corporation of India, they placed orders for 1,000 containers each from Bhel and Mazagon dock. And I think more containers means that I think export activity is going to do extremely well. Now, some people are in the chat box. I can see they're typing out Z Limited. Yeah, Z Limited was also up, I think, 4.5%. And again, I think 3 days back when I did the live, I told you the Sony Z merger is almost about to happen. So I think once the official announcement is there, we're going to see another move. But this move, which happened in Z, was backed by this. Now, all textile companies I'm extremely bullish on. So for people who are writing about Trident and other stocks, I think they're going to do extremely well. So don't worry about that. Now, if you look at the FII DII data, again, FIIs were again sellers of about 2,700 crores and DIIs were buyers of for about 3,500 crores. Now, if you're looking at my screen, I'll show you very good and very interesting data. Now, if you see from 16th of November, FIIs have continuously been selling, and FIIs have now, I think, sold close to 25,000 crores, which is a huge amount. And FIIs have been buyers in index in the last 2 days, but they have been selling in the cash market in the last 5 days itself. I think if we add up the numbers, we've sold more than 20,000 crores. Now, FII in options are also sellers today, but very small number, 335 crores as opposed to 4,000 crores. Now, what I am seeing is there was short covering definitely in Nifty, Bank Nifty, and especially metals. Now, coming on to auto, and I think a lot of people were asking about Maruti yesterday, and Maruti did extremely well along with Eicher Motors. Now, there are two reasons for this. Number one, Maruti announced yesterday that their December production levels will be around 85% and they'll not be at full capacity due to the semiconductor shortage. But again, they're operating at 85% capacity. That's good enough. Now, second thing is the Bank of America Merrill Lynch they say that November saw steady demand for passenger vehicles, but supply easing has not been broad-based across original equipment manufacturers. This means that Eicher Motors, Bajaj Auto, and Maruti are their preferred top picks. So Eicher was up 2.8% today. Maruti was up 2.9%. And they also say that tractor prints will see steep declines over the next few months on demanding base, and commercial vehicles trending well on recovery. But I think rising CNG demand is leading to market share shifts. So their preferred picks again, Maruti, Bajaj Auto, and Eicher Motors. Two-wheeler demand will remain soft, so I think two-wheeler stocks might not be doing well. If you look at Bajaj Auto and if you look at Hero MotoCorp, they have been underperforming big time. Now, a brokerage upgrade, and this is an interesting one on Titan, and the upside is more than 30% from the current market price. So Macquarie has Titan as one of their preferred picks in the consumer space, and the reasons is the company has guided to a 10% plus jewelry sales growth and a 12 to 13% margin, which is extremely impressive. And the company is cautious on the new Omicron impact, and it is not witnessing any material demand concerns as of yet. And in the consumer space for Macquarie, this is a preferred fix. From the current market price, there is a 30% upside in Titan, so definitely keep a watch out on that. Now, the next upgrade comes from JP Morgan, and this is for an IT heavyweight, HCL Tech. They have upgraded and they have maintained their overweight stance, and they say that the price target is they're looking at is 1400. Again, about a 20% upside from the current market price, and the reasons that they've given is they expect strong demand environment to sustain for at least 3 years. Supply issues will persist, but I think PNP should bounce back in Q3. So I think they still see a lot of value in the stock. For people who are typing about Brightcom Group, please hold on to this stock. There is something extremely interesting cooking in PCG. So please kindly hold on to that. Vodafone Idea, I'll talk about that. It was one of the top gainers. I think after the tariff hike, there is some short covering that's coming in Vodafone Idea, but Bharti Airtel was kind of weak. So we will talk about that. Now, next up is another upgrade by Goldman Sachs on Maruti Suzuki. Now, this is again interesting. price target of 9,000 rupees, and they say that their December production guidance of 80 to 85% is pretty normal. And they say semiconductor suppliers could still take some more time, but still I think they are the best placed to actually increase their last quarter. So you need to know that for auto companies, the December quarter is a seasonal quarter because people tend to purchase a lot of cars towards the holiday season before the new year. So they see that Maruti Suzuki will have a decent upside going forward. Now, if you look at Nifty 500 performance today, and pretty interesting. Okay, so people who are asking, did you trade metal? So yes, I gave a call out also today on the sniper shots, and we went and we are currently long on Tata Steel 1100 call options. We are also long on SAIL. We are also long on Jindal Steel, JSW Steel. I'm personally long on a lot of metal stocks because I think technically also there is a reversal. The risk reward is in favor, and I think they have corrected quite deeply. So I think metal stocks is something to definitely watch out for. Now, NMDC.